This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Denver. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, which is an underdog. We're talking the most confident picks on the card. We'll talk some Degen props to the night and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video as well. Last card was a very good one. Joe Pyfer came through as the lock. We got a 2-lock streak going. And last week was a chalky locky, or rather last card, which was UFC 303. This week is not a chalky locky. Because of how UFC Denver looked, I think I got to go underdog lock. That's what I felt when I initially saw this card and saw the matchup. So I'm going to be riding with my gut on this one, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Definitely some high confidence parlays, which we'll talk about at the end. But I want to jump right into the lock. So without further ado, the lock of the week. Damon Blackshear over Montel Jackson. I actually think Damon Blackshear could have gotten the decision against Mario Batista in a fight that he took on very short notice. He had fought the week prior and got a twister submission of Jose Johnson. So I feel like Damon Blackshear's skill set that he has at 29 years of age, seeming to be somebody that can break into the top 15. Fighting Batista on short notice and doing as well as he did, and then seeing Batista take out Ricky Simón, I feel like the stock is high, low-key on Blackshear. And when I saw him as an underdog, which I anticipated he would be, I was excited. Montel Jackson's a good southpaw with quick hands, but I think Damon Blackshear matches him in the stand-up. He also matches him in the physicality with the size, and he has better jiu-jitsu. Montel Jackson has decent wrestling, but I don't think that he has the grappling competency on the ground that Damon Blackshear has. I definitely don't think he has the creative level of a submission threat that Blackshear has either. And Blackshear is going to be good to go for 3 hard rounds. I see Blackshear taking out Jackson. Now, how does he beat him? I've been feeling decision because I respect Montel Jackson's game, but if you look at historically, Montel Jackson's stumbles in his career have been against Ricky Simón and Brett Johns, 2 guys that are pretty good at wrestling and grappling. I think Blackshear definitely has better jiu-jitsu than both of them, and I think he brings in a similar wrestling threat to both of them. On top of that, with the physicality to match Montel Jackson and the striking prowess to match too. I think the speed is going to be there for Damon Blackshear. So I'm going with Blackshear to pull through. I think he wins this thing. Straight money line is the bet, though. You could go chasing a prop if you wanted to, but Montel Jackson's going to be a game customer, and trying to throw it all down on prop bets to me isn't a great idea. I definitely have a feeling that we're going over 1.5. That's minus 350. I think Blackshear by decision is live. That's plus 250, but I like Moneyline more. It would be a stretch to say Blackshear is tapping out Montel Jackson. It's plus 500 for it. Not an impossible feat, but not a feat that I'm betting on. Damon Blackshear straight down the center, underdog lock this week. We're riding with it, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And if you're not feeling the dog, don't worry, because we're going to talk about the most confident picks, and I think that I have some fire onslaughts, which I can drop for you guys. So we have Thug Rose Namajunas as a most confident pick. We got Joshua Van as a most confident pick. We got Gabriel Bonfim, and we have Christian Rodriguez. All of those high confidence calls. And I'm also going to throw in a special value money line after this segment for you guys. I think that first thing foremost, Rose Namajunas taking on a short notice Tracy Cortez should be good to go. I know people have kind of jumped off the Rose Namajunas ship after, her bad performance against Jillian Robertson in grappling, and maybe not the most impressive win ever against Amanda Ribas, but Tracy Cortez hasn't beaten anybody near the level of the former world champ in Thug Rose. I feel like Thug Rose is going to outpoint her and fend off takedowns. I feel like it's a competitive fight, but a Rose Namajunas fight. And there's short notice is another negative factor for Tracy Cortez. I have to be confident in the former world champ Rose Namajunas to outpoint Tracy Cortez to win a 49-46, 48-47 type decision. I expect a long fight. So going into the later rounds is something I'm anticipating. The over 4.5, minus 280, but women's fight tends to go long. Very chalky though. Minus 105 for a Thug Rose decision. I feel like that's live as hell. And I also saw a unanimous decision for Thug Rose, which I'm officially calling, plus 150. Not saying that's the greatest prop of all time, but I do see her getting a clear win over Tracy Cortez. I don't think it's a contentious split decision where she barely gets through or ends up getting a robbery. I think she puts on a quality display against a game prospect on the come up who's good and top 15 level, but not necessarily top 5. Thug Rose fought well enough against Manon Fiorot with a broken finger. She beat Amanda Ribas. She was supposed to fight Macy Barber. Rose Namajunas is still among the elites of women's MMA, whereas Tracy Cortez's biggest win to date is Jasmine Jasdavicius, who's on the prelims of this card, and I think she's going to lose. So I think Thug Rose is good to pull through. High confidence call. Next up, Joshua Van is minus 210 as the favorite over a very quality striker in Charles Johnson, but a guy he can beat. Joshua Van's the better boxer. Charles Johnson has a kicking advantage, but he's not going to be able to kick him from the outside for 3 rounds and keep him away. Joshua Van is in a close distance, and he is going to land some powerful punches on the face and also the body of Charles Johnson. The thing I really like about Joshua Van, as young as he is, he has very high striking IQ, and he mixes up his levels. You see plenty of strikers, they get carried away. Their style becomes getting knockouts with headshots. Joshua Van throws body shot combinations in the mix, and I absolutely love it. This is a stretch of a prop at plus 550, but KO is live. I think Joshua Van could knock Charles Johnson out. Charles Johnson survives fights, goes long. He's a game journeyman. He's a tough gatekeeper at the higher level. But you look, a lot of these fights he's taken on guys with pressure grappling games. Now he's going to find somebody willing to strike with him, but somebody that definitely has better boxing than him. Charles Johnson needs a near perfect night of keeping Van away and not getting stung with big shots. I don't think that Johnson has the power nor the distance management to keep a young, hungry Joshua Van away from him. A Joshua Van who was supposed to be breaking into the top 15, where he's scheduled to fight Tagir Ulanbekov, who embarrassingly missed weight and got that fight screwed. I think Joshua Van's pulling through, and I'm feeling good about it. Next up, Gabriel Bonfim, minus 300. He's 3-1. He should be 3-1. Don't jump ship yet. He gave Nicholas Dalby an okay fight until he got stopped. And you might be thinking, well, he's a huge favorite. He was supposed to win. Nicholas Dalby is historically underrated and underestimated. I mean, look with the Renat Fakhreddinov fight. People thought Dalby deserved to win at it. So, I think you got to put respect on the name of Dalby. So, therefore, the loss to Dalby for a young Bonfim is not that bad at 26, 27 years of age. And now he takes on Loosa, who's tough. He's okay. The over 1.5 is live at minus 160. But where does Loosa have an advantage? More muscle? He's a little more jacked. Maybe a little stronger. Doesn't have devastating punching power. Is a decent fighter overall. I really will say, if you're talking about a style that I would consider a generalist, that means that in every area you're pretty good. That equals Loosa. He does nothing exceptional, but he is durable. So I think that Bonfim needs to fight this fight smart. Patient approach. We've seen it. Him destroying fighters early, right? And going out there and getting first-round finishes, it becomes addicting. Didn't work against Dalby and he lost. If he fights at a more calculated pace, if he fights smart, if he's more calm in there, which I expect him to be, because I think he's going to grow from the Dalby loss and become a decent contender, he's going to beat a guy like Loosa. I am going to say Bonfim by decision, plus 300. It's a live prop bet to happen. He's never won by decision before. I think this could be the match. Following a loss, he's a little more cautious, picks his shots better, and pulls off a win. But don't be surprised when Bonfim strangles him and is the first guy to tap out Loosa too. Because Bonfim has really good jiu-jitsu and really good striking. He's a good prop. He's going to win. He's a very high confidence pick here. He's a lock. Next up, Christian Rodriguez, minus 200. The reason I had to put Christian Rodriguez in as opposed to Luana Santos is I didn't want to do the low-level women's fight as a most confident pick for this card. Even though I think Santos is beating Agapova, just so you guys know. The striking offense of C-Rod versus the ineffective striking defense of Julian Erosa is a major tell in this fight. Erosa's losses, for the most part in the UFC, they're coming by KO. And a lot of people may look at this fight and say, okay, but Erosa's got that good length advantage. He'll keep him away. Erosa's not good at striking from distance and keeping fighters off of him mostly. And another note that you got to dig into is it's not like Erosa hasn't been knocked out by guys with short arms before. I mean, he lost to Artem Lobov on The Ultimate Fighter, who had a 65-inch reach. Christian Rodriguez, I believe he's got a 71-inch reach to a 74.5 for Erosa. That's not a major gap. I think Christian Rodriguez is going to emerge as the quality prospect / contender that it's kind of, already writing on the wall that he is. Christian Rodriguez should win this fight. He shouldn't find himself in any stupid submission. In his debut, he fought Pierce, who is a better grappler than Julian Erosa. The way Erosa wins fights a lot of the time is guys underestimate him in X area, specifically the ground. They'll go for a stupid takedown. They'll leave their neck out. They get caught in something. Christian Rodriguez is not going to do that. Christian Rodriguez, I believe, is going to pick his shots well and find himself a massive win. I think C-Rod is real good, and I think he's a great prospect, and he deserves to be a high-confidence pick on this card, and I'm keeping him on it. Plus 200 for the KO prop as well. Now, since I did an underdog lock, I'm going to give you guys a most valuable money line. I think Gene Silva is going to knock Drew Dober out. He's minus 110. I just feel like the Gene Silva train's got to keep on rolling. Like, you got to throw down on black or red, and you got to ride that wave. Right now, the Gene Silva wave is coming, and I think Drew Dober is going to get knocked out. We've seen Dober caught with big punches before. We've seen him drop before, too. Historically, he has a good chin, but he takes a lot of damage, and Gene Silva seems to have the gift of power that very few guys have at the lighter weight classes, and even coming up to 155 pounds from missing weight at 145, in the last card against Jourdain, I'm not overly concerned because Drew Dober is not a tall and lanky guy for 155 pounds where he can use this physicality and keep Silva off of him and outpoint him from distance for 3 rounds or give him trouble on the ground. He can't. Drew Dober is in a striking fight with a knockout artist. And though Drew Dober himself is also a knockout artist, he's been touched up, outboxed before. He's been knocked out before. He's taken significant damage in fights. I can recall so many significant shots from the Terrence McKinney fight, to the Matt Frivola fight, to the Bobby Green fight, which he won, to the Rafael Alves fight, which he won, where he's absorbing a lot of damage. I think Gene Silva can find the perfect shot and put him out. Even money, minus 110, Gene Silva's a valuable money line. And I think he's a quality call. It was a must for me to put him in this section, and I'm going to give him his due respect. I'm also going to read off the knockout prop for Gene Silva, plus 185. I think that knockout is live. I think Gene Silva is en route to getting the biggest win of his life, and he can decide if he wants to stay at 155 or cut back down to 45, because the damn UFC is going to be his damn oyster after this one, because the hype train is going to go through the roof, beating a guy that's pretty popular and entertaining in Drew Dober. So we're going Gene Silva as a most confident money line. And I want to talk about some Degen props of the night. Like I always say with this section, it doesn't always tend to be that Degen because I feel like I go through so many quality props previous to this segment. So, Al Hassan versus Brundage, under 2.5, minus 275. Maybe a parlay piece. Something to consider. I think there's a finish. Luana Santos to submit Agapova. Agapova gets submitted a lot. Granted, against Moroz, who's okay. Jillian Robertson, who's exceptionally good. Luana Santos is meh, so maybe the sub is not something you're jumping at, but it is plus 165. And I needed something for the segment, but these are not my favorite. This section never really gets me that excited unless it's like a week where there's so many confident calls that I want to include more. I just don't got enough space. That's not this week. Those are the props. I want to talk about the fame section, the fan favorite section, the parlays to play. Okay, so the parlays this week. We got Thug Rose, Namajunas, and Joshua Van. I feel good about that. I think there's a real good chance that both of them win and you get plus money for it. Now, Van and Bonfim is spectacular as well. If you don't want to play the women's main event, but you're still confident, plus 100, I like it. Now, if you want to go a little dog savagery in your mix with a high confidence Joshua Van call, plus 235 for the dog lock and Blackshear and Joshua Van to win. Now, if you're looking to go, with the security blanket of most confident picks, but something that still brings you to good plus money, Namajunas, Van, and Bonfim at plus 200 is very valid. And then Namajunas, Van, Bonfim, and Christian Rodriguez. So that's for the most confident pick section to sweep, which you guys know it happens a lot, plus 346. Now, if you want to do a little alternate action, maybe Bonfim and Blackshear, a big favorite with a nice underdog at plus 200. And then if you really want to switch things up, you go Damon Blackshear and you go Gene Silva in your mix at plus 335. Not a horrible idea to throw in some chaos like that. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. Now, I want to talk some degens, okay? And I will tell you guys, the degeneracy this week is getting brought to a minimum because I have a feeling that this could be a chaotic card where throwing in crazy prop bet parlays could be high risk. Now, Namajunas by decision. Sure, you can remix that and put it by decision. You'll get, several more points on your plus money. But Namajunas, Van, Bonfim, C-Rod, and Blackshear is plus 895. That's pretty degen for this Denver card. Namajunas, Van, Bonfim, C-Rod, Blackshear, and Silva at plus 1845. So that right there would be a clean sweep of the confidence throughout the night with, I think, pretty quality calls, man. That's 6 money calls right there. I like it. I think it's live to happen. Plus 1845. Not a terrible go of it. Not at all. But I do want to give you guys a little love on air. A little something to come up with as I'm talking to you guys, all right? Because I feel like I wanted to do the madness of doing a prop parlay live, which I wasn't enjoying doing it before because I'm like, it's not a good idea. But right now, I'll talk about it. Namajunas to win by decision. Bonfim, you got to put a money line. Silva, you got to go money line. Christian Rodriguez, you got to go money line. You want to go crazy and go Abdul Razak Al Hassan by knockout? Maybe you do it, but I don't. I don't want to. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Van to win, now you got plus 1149. Blackshear, now you got plus 2,685. So essentially, the same one you see at the bottom there, but just Namajunas by decision instead, brings you the big plus money. But chasing everything, looking for the prop section to hit, and mix that up with a parlay. For this card, I don't love it as much. Other cards, I'm all over it. This card, something's whispering. Keep it money line for the most part. You don't want to go too crazy. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's best MMA bets. I enjoyed it. It's nice to be back in studio. Hope you guys like it. I enjoyed a nice vacation, but I'm back every day. So keep it locked in on the channel. If you're new, subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Let me know your lock in the comments. Let me know what you thought of me going underdog lock, because I had to do it this week. Something told me, UFC Denver, you go dog in Denver. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.